Hello and good morning to all of you wonderful people. The 2017 YouTube Pagan Challenge actually includes a lot of questions about Books of Shadows, and I didn't want to miss out. And while I have a Book of Shadows from back when I created it, it was like a long time ago. I created it when I was first starting off my path, and I kept updating it for like a year, and I haven't updated it at all for most of my path, and I barely use it. I don't like it, actually. It looks very childish, for one, probably because I'm a very childish human being, but I made it back when I was in between freshman and sophomore year. It's not updated. Most of the information that I know is in my head. I actually haven't written down most of it, and I have been wanting a new Book of Shadows for a pretty long time, but I want something fancy. I want it to look nice, but I also have the problem where I want to reorganize it every few months. Even though I haven't updated my old Book of Shadows, I have reorganized it over and over and over again in the past, I don't know how many years. I keep reorganizing it over and over again because I actually kept it in a binder, and if I hadn't kept it in a binder, I have a feeling I would have ripped out all the pages to it. Because I'm very fickle as a person, so I knew that I couldn't buy a fancy book and expect to actually be able to work through it and finish making it and be pleased with it, because I would get irritated with myself. So I needed to find a fancy binder that looked nice, that didn't look stupid. So this was a huge problem for me, and I was trying to figure out, well, maybe I could buy binder rings and make the cover itself. And then I'm like, okay, binder rings are really actually difficult to go and buy as like the mechanism itself. And my boyfriend suggested that I just unscrew one out of a binder that I buy. So I was like, well, sure, I could go buy a 6-inch binder, but then I looked at the prices. 6-inch binders are like $45. I bought a 3-inch binder for $12. It has a really nice material. Like just looking at the cover, I really like the cover to this. Otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. I would have bought a different one that was cheaper. They have nice binder rings. I love D-rings for binders because you can have all the pages sit nicely right here. I thought this was how big a 6-inch binder would be, but this is a 3-inch binder. I haven't turned it into a Book of Shadows yet, but I think that since the material that this is made out of actually is super nice in comparison to all those crappy binders that I had in high school, like this is a really, really nice binder. Like it's reinforced, reinforced rubberized spine, so it's not going to break very easily. It has, like, these actually are very easy to open, and then I just have to snap them back closed, and they don't do that horrible thing that binders tend to do. So I actually feel like I can turn this into a nice looking Book of Shadows that doesn't look tacky, which is my problem with binders. So I'm actually happy that I found such a nice binder that I can turn into a Book of Shadows, because I've been wanting a new Book of Shadows, and so I'm going to use this beautiful thing. And I bought a pack of 100 sheet protectors because I do not want my pages to wind up getting torn and ripped up and falling out like they are in my last Book of Shadows. Tacky childishness. But yeah, my pages actually look really, really tacky too, but if you notice, like, here, let's go to the 13-inch bats page that I have right here, and you can already see that this is basically, oh, page falling out over there, more pages falling out over here. This one is held in by one because the others managed to break off. And so I just barely use this thing anymore. And because while this was my Book of Shadows, it is not amazing. I haven't treated it very well. I want a good one that I'm not going to fuck up. So I'm actually really embarrassed by that Book of Shadows altogether because it's horrible. And then I feel embarrassed that I'm saying these things about my own Book of Shadows because I made it myself. It was my own creation, but it's kind of like it wasn't even good art. It just, no. For those of you who don't know what a Book of Shadows is and have been waiting for me to tell you, a Book of Shadows is basically a reference book that a witch makes and keeps for herself. A lot of the time we don't allow other people to look inside of it. It's actually a personal choice. We keep rituals in there, spells, potions, any information that we want to have written down, and pretty much anything that we personally consider should go in there. And that's actually different for every individual who makes one. So most of them are actually in bound books, but if you're a person like me, that would be a bad idea. That's ultimately what I've been saying throughout most of this video. So ultimately, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do to turn this into my Book of Shadows, because I do want to point out that I can make this look really nice without having any sort of issue here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the little paper thingies that they keep inside of it, which does leave this shiny little piece right here, which is my problem with a lot of binders. They have these shiny things on all sides. I don't like the shiny things. They're really annoying to have be on the outside of a binder. I actually would prefer this material to be all around, but since it isn't, I am going to be painting this part of it black. Like, I'm going to paint with acrylic black paint on top of this to hopefully create a kind of transparent black line thing all over the top of it. And I think that would make it look a lot better. Once I've done that, I will be painting a piece of paper so that it's basically black with a galaxy theme on top of it, with a white pentacle and then white spritz for stars, and then I'm going to put it inside of here underneath of the black transparency, and it's going to look really cool. Also need to take this piece out right here. We're going to keep this piece and use the sizing to cut out a little piece of paper and basically do the exact same thing that we're going to do on the front, but put it in here, except instead of putting a pentacle in the center, we're going to write Book of Shadows in little white paint, because we want it to be this size and we want it to look nice and be labeled, because we have that right there. And this is a nice covering, protecting window piece, so I feel like having it labeled is something that I really prefer to have, but I also don't want it to be super obvious, because there are people in my family, like my grandmother is coming to visit, and she has a tendency to not have respect for other people's belongings, so I don't want her to find it. I'm actually going to be hiding all of my witchy stuff all together where she can't find it.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead, nothing but blue I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Oh, what a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
And this is the completed product. I know it took multiple attempts. I showed you the original attempt, and here is my beautiful little thing. I only wrote shadows because book of would not fit, but I do like how it turned out, and I actually really do decently enjoy it. As you might see, there are shiny bits there. I had to repaint some of it, but it's still drying, and it looks absolutely beautiful, and I'm absolutely happy with how it turned out. And I think that this is a really nice looking book for being a book of shadows, even if it is a binder. So us is proof that you can make a binder look like a decent book of shadows. Thank you for watching, blessed be, and I hope that you all have enjoyed. I would super appreciate it if you wanted to watch my other videos or comment or press like or anything like that, because I do check on all of that. It makes me super happy. It also makes it so more people watch my videos. So thank you.